hope you are doing well. I hope you are all safe and healthy and at peace. Today I'm going to speak to you about altering clothes and about learning how to alter clothes, because it's not something that normally, I don't know, sometimes they teach you in school, but I don't know about your schools. My school was not that great in this department. I remember that at one point they gave us, they made us sit at the sewing machines, and of course it was only girls. Yeah, love the times. They made us sit at the sewing machines. They gave us pieces of paper, not even pieces of fabric. There was no thread in the sewing machine, but yeah, we needed to kind of stitch the piece of paper just to make this line, like straight line with a needle. Anyways, that was ridiculous. I didn't learn to sew at all in school, and I didn't really learn that much from my mom, because once I asked her to help me to make, we needed to make aprons, again for school, and she did it all herself. So I'm not even, like, I have no idea how to construct clothes, I have no idea how to make patterns. I learned everything myself, and I believe that in this day and age, when you have YouTube, you have all this information, you have books, you have video tutorials, you have everything, you can learn to do it even yourself, if you want to, of course. For me, my interest in altering clothes started about, I would say, like 8 years ago, because I used to thrift a lot when I was living in Ukraine, and thrifting can be very tricky, you know. I was speaking about this before, that it was a huge trigger for me, and I was buying lots of things that were not really fitting me properly, or the things that I didn't really need. And it's a completely other topic, and I hope that I will finally film the video about my minimalist journey. But at that point, I was buying some things that I was feeling attracted to, like skirts that were too big, or because they had beautiful fabric, or shirts or something like that, or dresses that were not fitting me. And I really wanted to alter them, and I didn't know how. So it was just something that I was kind of accumulating in my home. And then I found blogs. Of course, I was reading blogs even before that, but I found 2 blogs in specific. The first one was Keiko Lin. I believe that she's still quite active, but I don't read her anymore. The other blog was One Dress Per Day, or how was it called? I remember that her name was Melissa, and that she was on the journey of remaking thrifted, vintage, etc. dresses. So she was making 1 outfit per day the whole year for 365 days for $365, something like that. If I will remember, I will link that blog down below. But I used to really like it also. And the third one that completely changed my perception of sewing, in general, believing in my creative capabilities, was Geneva's blog that used to be called A Pair and a Spare. Now I believe it's called Collective Gen, and now everyone is going crazy about it because of terracotta, like fake terracotta pots and things like that. But anyways, I used to follow her since 2012, I believe, and she used to live in Hong Kong at that time, and I was going to move to Thailand in a bit, and this was something that really clicked with me, and I really loved the thing that she was making. She was making skirts from scratch, or she was remaking vintage things. She was making vintage, like very frumpy dresses into very stylish 2-piece sets. I really loved her blog, and the way she was explaining how to sew was something that I really understood. Her tutorials were the best. That was a very long intro. So I started trying with my thrifted clothes, and I was not really precious about it, because, like, come on, you were paying like 30 cents, 20 cents, 50 cents for a piece that had lots of fabric, because I used to love to buy these like big dresses and everything. And I was trying to remake them. And I failed miserably so many times, like, don't get me wrong, I was not good at first at all, and there are still so many things that I cannot do by myself. Sometimes small adjustments is everything that you need to start loving your things much more. So I will show you a few things, and I will tell you some of the tricks that I learned by myself in how to adjust clothes. And very important disclaimer, I don't have a sewing machine here. I used to have a sewing machine in Ukraine, and I still have it there. It's my grandmother's super old sewing machine that you need to really, it doesn't have a pedal, it's like you need to do it manually, and I love it. I absolutely love that machine, but it's in Ukraine. I don't have anything here. I'm thinking about buying it, but I still cannot kind of make my mind on it, which one I should buy it or not, etc. Okay, it's time to start showing you something. We're like 8 minutes in this video. I talk too much, I know. First one is this cardigan that I spoke about in many of my previous videos. It's handmade cardigan that I thrifted for like very cheaply. I don't even know how much I paid for it. But the thing that was not working out for me is that it had very simple white buttons, you know, like very cheap plastic buttons. And it was just not something that I liked. And I cut them off and I reused them later. I will tell you where. But I changed them for this, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah. Anyways, this wooden buttons. And it was something that really changed this cardigan. Like now I like it so much more. So sometimes something as simple as this can really change your perception of a piece of clothing. If you have a jacket that looks a little bit dated, try to add buttons or try to change the buttons. Sometimes like people say that, yeah, I really like blazers with buttons over here on the end of the sleeves, but this one doesn't have them. Like you can add them. If you already have this blazer and then you're not really in love with it, sometimes a small adjustment like this can really make you love your clothes so much more, and you will get so much more use out of it. And the idea of sustainability is this one, to use what you already have. This is the most sustainable thing that you can do. Okay, then I have these two dresses I showed you before. I spoke about them, how I adjusted them before. This is not my best work because I had to do everything by hand. But as I said, both of them, they had the same problem. They were a little bit too closed up on the top. They both had the neckline that was like this and with the small collar, like the t-shirt neckline, and also longer sleeves. And this was not working for me because they were a little bit too suffocating, and this one was a little bit too, I know it's going to sound silly, but it was a little bit too much leopard for me. And I couldn't layer it under anything because it was just too much fabric on the top. So what I've done, I detached the collar on both of them and made this flip here. It didn't, like, it's not, again, it's not my best work. It's not something that I'm telling you is perfect, but it's something that made me love these dresses so much more and get much more use out of them. I also cut out the sleeves and remade these seams. So now it looks like a sleeveless dress. Also this one and this one, now they both feel so much better. They feel so much more me. And this was also quite a simple adjustment if you think. Again, try first with something thrifted, try first with something that you're not feeling like too in love with. But I've already done so many of adjustments like this in the past that I was not feeling like I cannot do it. I already practiced on other dresses, so I knew that I could do it. And also speaking about the white buttons from the white cardigan, I changed the buttons here. These were also like here before I had huge plastic buttons. I used the ones from that cardigan. I put the fabric from the dress on top of them, and now they look so much better. It's like completely different look. Then this dress, I haven't done a very good job actually. I need to remake it a little bit because I didn't finish the seams very well. But when I bought it, it was way too big on me, and I knew that I can remake it. I really love the pattern. It's this red and white polka dots. So it was very big on me in the sleeves, not in the sleeves, in the shoulders. So the shoulders were basically here. And it didn't look very good on me because it's kind of like, it makes your shoulders look weird. It makes you look like you're wearing someone else's clothes, which I think in this case it was correct because it was not my size. I needed to move the sleeve line, like I needed to move this line on its place from here to there. So I needed to adjust this part. I don't know if you will be able to understand the way I'm explaining. I'm really sorry. So the important part to understand is that I changed this part completely. This used to be the previous neckline. After that, I had too much fabric left on the back, so this I already made with the sewing machine when I was in Ukraine. I just stitched it across the back, and it made it a little bit more fitted on my body. And now it looks so much better, and now I can actually get wear out of this dress. Also, it had this a little bit weird flute kind of sleeves that were looking a little bit like a dressing gown or something. So I just cut them and sewed them in. And again, these were more serious adjustments, but this was something that made this dress so much more wearable for me. And now I can actually wear it out and nobody will ever know that I fixed it or I remade it, I resewn it or anything. Then I have this dress. It also had longer sleeves, and they were kind of suffocating me a little bit because they were like until here, and it had this big flap, and it was just uncomfortable and hot and weird. I just cut them off, all in the same. I measured them, I cut them off, and I finished the seams. And now it looks a little bit more like dress from the 40s because it had like this small fitted sleeves. And I really like it, and it's something, again, I was not wearing it because I didn't like that aspect of it. Since I've remade the sleeves, I feel like I'm more happy to wear it. I'm looking forward to wearing this dress, and this is what counts. Then I have this dress, and this is my favorite thrift find of, I don't know, all of my life basically. I remade it partially myself, partially I brought it to a seamstress that I know in Ukraine. And this was the best choice because this made a thrifted, very vintage, very weirdly looking dress, something that nobody wanted because it was sold by weight. And these small adjustments took it from there, like from being the dress, old-fashioned, very kind of like frumpy, weird dress. It took it from there to being something that I wear every year for 6 years. Every summer in all the photos, and I absolutely love it, and everybody's giving me so many compliments. It became my favorite dress by far. It had 2 big plastic white buttons on each side. I took them out, of course, and then I adjusted the bodice a little bit because it was a little bit too big on me here. So I just sewn it, I don't even know if you will be able to see it. Yeah, here is the stitch that I made. Maybe it will focus. Can you see it? This white with white thread. Nothing special. It's not even a good stitch, but I made it and it's surviving for how many years. And then after I made this attachment, I think I made it as a suit for some party because I wanted to be a Snow White. And after that, I started seeing potential in this dress, like even more potential than I saw before. And before moving to Italy, I went to a seamstress that I know in Kiev. And I asked her to open up the neckline because it was like this. It was very high neckline and very awkward length. It was not mid-calf. It was kind of like between maxi and midi, which is not a good look. I don't know, at least not on my legs. I asked her to cut it until my knee and also to open up the neckline, and it made all the difference. I love this dress. I wear it, as I said, every summer. In every photo from any adventure from the summers, I'm always in this dress. I love it. And then, of course, we need to speak about some of my fails. This was Laura Ashley like wool blend blazer. I really was not feeling it as a blazer because it was not something that I was interested in wearing at that time. Again, inspired by Geneva's blog, I saw her DIY tutorial on basically take a thrifted blazer and remake the sleeves, like open seams, take out the sleeves, close them, and just be happy and wear it everywhere. This is what I did, and I didn't do it well. I tried to make it with a machine, with my sewing machine, to finish all of these seams after I opened them and detached the sleeves, and it just looked very bad. You can, even from far away, you could see that something was not right with these lines. So last year when I came to Ukraine, I found this piece and I was like, okay, it has so much potential and I wouldn't mind to wear it right now, but the problem are the sleeve line. I went to the same seamstress and I showed it to her and I was like, yeah, please don't laugh at me. Can you please help me? And she was like, yeah, girl, you didn't do it well. And she made it for me. Now it's all perfectly finished. I don't know if it will focus. Okay, anyways, you cannot see it, I'm sorry. Now it's perfectly finished. You will never tell that it's not how it was designed to be. And this is my next lesson. Don't hesitate to ask someone for help. Because if you really like something and you don't know how to make adjustments, the most logical way is to go to a tailor and ask them to fix your clothes. Because this is 101 of good fitting clothes, of clothes that really looks good on you, clothes that makes you feel empowered and badass and like you're ready to take out the world. And my latest fail, which I don't really want to consider my fail yet, because I'm still working on it. If you remember, this used to be a linen dress, and it had the ruffles in a very weird places. So the ruffles were coming from here, like from the part of my ribs, on the sides, and not on the front or in the back, just only on the sides. I decided to try and make it a little bit more ruched on every side and make it a little bit like, how you call it, like a peplum top. And I didn't do it well. Here the stitching is open, like it's not looking great on me. I'm going to be remaking it, but it will need some time and patience, and I don't have time right now. I have patience, I don't have time. So at some point in the future, this top is going to be remade and it will become a blouse. And this is going to be my last tip and my last suggestion to you. If you are not, like, if you're not sure that something worked out, or if you know that something didn't work out, the way you saw it in your brain, the way you saw it in your head, don't get discouraged. This happens to everyone. I'm fixing my clothes and I'm remaking my clothes for like past 8 years, let's say, and this happened this summer, like a few months ago. So what I would tell you is that never get discouraged. Be patient, be attentive, try to analyze what went wrong and why you don't like the adjustment that you made. What was not working out for you? Can you still fix the piece, or is it like ruined forever? And things like that. Like, don't get discouraged. Don't let your first fail, and you will, if you will learn by yourself, probably you will have some fails. This is natural. Don't let your first fail or your second or your 100th fail change your mind about learning something or acquiring some skills. I started from kind of like zero knowledge about sewing, and until this day I made a few skirts from scratch. I adjusted a lot of clothes. I remade some things into like dress into skirt, or I actually, yeah, I forgot to show you. I'm sorry, I forgot to show you another piece that I hid away yesterday. It's the dress that I remade into a skirt. I will insert a clip from another video that I filmed with it. I didn't even think about it. I don't know why, I'm sorry. Anyways, that was also like, again, the same thing. It was not working out as a dress. That's why I just detached the top part and made it into a skirt, and it's a beautiful skirt. And I get lots of wear out of it. It looks very good. It looks like something very intentional. So if you're really interested in how to do it, you will. Just try. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't get discouraged, and just be proactive about it. Just try, like start with something. So thank you very much for watching this video. I really hope that it was useful for you. I hope it was interesting. I hope it gave you some inspiration and some ideas. I'll see you in my next video. Ciao!